Berlin is unlike any other city in Germany, maybe the world. There are far more beautiful cities in Germany. Munich is a lot prettier than Berlin, but to me it's also a lot less honest. I love Munich, don't get me wrong, but if you aren't looking for castles or pretty buildings, you really have to search out for Germany's dark history in Munich. Berlin grabs you by the neck and forces you to look at Germany's history. It acknowledges its complicated and dark history more than any other city in Germany, and more than any other city does in the world, I believe. It's a city that is not traditionally beautiful. It's complicated. It's sometimes confusing and chaotic, but I wouldn't want to live anywhere else in the world.
Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Thank you for clicking on this video. I know it's been a minute since we've talked and since I've seen you guys. I gotta tell you, I've missed you very much. I needed to take a break, figure out what I was doing. I got sucked into school and working, so forgive me for being absent for a little bit. It's just, I had to do what I had to do. Today, I am in Mitte, the district of Mitte, in the Scheunenviertal, which literally translates into the barn quarter. Prior to the war, the Scheunenviertal was the home to almost 40,000 Eastern European Jewish people. And this was the heart of the Jewish community in Berlin. So today I'm going to take you around, show you some of those sites here in the Scheunenviertal. We're going to get some food because I'm starving as well. We'll just have a little talk about this part of the history of Berlin. I hope you enjoy it. So if you do, please go ahead and hit the like button and make sure you subscribe if you haven't done so. So before I wander too far, I'm starving. I'm gonna grab some lunch. And there is a traditional New York style deli up here that I'm gonna try. I have never been to, but I've heard really good things about it. I've heard they have a wonderful Reuben sandwich, and I've been craving a Reuben lately. So I'm gonna head there now and grab a bite to eat. So the deli is in this building right here. This was the Jewish girls' school. It opened in 1930. After the Nuremberg laws passed in 1935, this became this and the boys' school around the corner became the schools that Jewish kids had to go to school, because they weren't allowed to go to school with non-Jewish kids after 1935. So when the deportations really started happening, well, this property was confiscated by the Nazis, and the girls that went to school here were sent to the death camps. I don't believe any of the students that were deported from here survived the war. But the deli is inside here, so I'm gonna go in there now. Okay, new plan. I am not paying 18 euros for a sandwich. That is out of my price range. So I'm gonna wander around here for a minute and then probably grab a slice of pizza at Magic Jim's. So I wasn't about to pay 18 euros for a sandwich. So I am at Nam Pan, a Vietnamese restaurant here on Orion and Burgerstrasse. Never eaten here, but it looks really good. I kind of want a banh mi, but I don't know if they have that here. So I just got a 2-course meal with a soda. The meal is €9.50. You get appetizer and a main course. So I got the spring rolls. I got the lemongrass chicken, I think, with a Coke Zero. So this should be good. I hope. I'm starving. I was not about to pay 18 euros for a Reuben sandwich. That is ridiculous. But if you want to eat in there, it looks really nice, and I've heard it's really good. That is way out of my price range. So I'm gonna eat this, and then we'll get going. Oh, this looks pretty good. And that was super fast that it came out. Hey, look, we're recording. All right, let's eat. Spring roll's good. Very fresh, very fresh. I got it with meat and hot tofu, and the peanut sauce is really good, really sweet. You know, it's like a salad. I didn't realize it was a salad. I wouldn't have gotten a salad. It's pretty tasty. It's pretty good. I'm gonna finish this, and then we're gonna get on our walk. All right, well, I still ended up spending a little more than I wanted. I spent 15 euros on that meal, which is more than I should have spent probably, but it was good, and it was better than I can't imagine an 18 euro sandwich being worth 18 euros, you know? I just can't wrap my head around that. But it was good. Got a belly full of good food. I'm gonna go into the Center Judaicum up here. I'm gonna show you that. It's really, I haven't been inside it, but I've shown many tours. The synagogue. This is the new synagogue. It was constructed and opened in 1865. It survived the November pogrom of 1938, what the Nazis called Kristallnacht, only to be heavily damaged in the British and American air raid bombings in late 1944 and 45. Now, it's been renovated. Today it no longer serves as a synagogue, but it's what they call it, it's the Center Judaicum. They have a museum and an archive, and it's a really important place today.
On the graves, in the cracks of 1,000 leaves.
Incidentally, still have yet to find a decent Mexican place in this town. It's a crying shame.
All the dividing themes. Are you still listening? Want to be heard by you. Slow fall into the Indian Sea, where the cold
So this is Sophienkirche. This is St. Sophie's Church. What's interesting about this church is that in 1963, Martin Luther King came here and preached. Now that may not seem out of the ordinary, but you got to remember, this was East Berlin. And so Americans didn't come to this side of the wall to preach very often. Having a black civil rights leader come to communist East Berlin to preach, needless to say, was controversial in the US, and was just one of the many reasons why the FBI targeted Martin Luther King.
Slow falling slowly, where the cold and the hot, and the powers that be.
In many places here in Berlin, you can still see bullet holes like this on the side of this building here. A lot of times they leave them as sort of an unofficial memorial. And many times, like if you go over to the Berliner Dome, you can see them on the columns. It's just not possible to repair them without it looking really bad, so they leave them.
Slow fall into the Indian Sea, where the cold and the hot meet, and the powers that be.
This was the site on Grosse Hamburger Straße of the Jewish retirement center, where prior to the war, it was used as a retirement home. When this property was confiscated by the Nazis, it was used as a holding cell for Jewish people prior to being put on trucks and taken to the train station to be deported. And you can tell these lines are the outlines of where the rooms were. In 1943, the Gestapo, the secret police, undertook what they called Operation Fabric Action. It was February 27th, 1943. And that was the rounding up of the remaining 10,000 or so Jews that were living in Berlin at the time. This place right here was where the majority of those people were brought and held until they were put on trucks and taken to the train station to be deported. And you would have 50 or 60 people in each of these rooms, and they were in here for about 3 weeks, crowded in there. They didn't have room to sit down. They had to have shifts in sitting down. They didn't have food, and so people from the street, the wives and family and friends, would try to throw food in to the people, mainly men, in these holding cells. Just imagine how just awful it would have been. This is the banality of the Holocaust. This was just a building. This wasn't a death camp. This wasn't gas chambers. This is not that. This was just a senior citizens home that was a cog in the system of murder. That's the banality of the evil. That's the banality of the evil. The building next door to the senior living center was the Jewish boys' school, and this too was used as a holding cell. And this mural was painted in 2013. It's not a mural. Actually, it wasn't painted. It's mosaic. And so it was created by school children from around the world in 2013.
Nothing will last.
bougie cinnamon roll, this is where you come.
Mediocre days, I need to stop this burn. Say, can you help me unlearn? This rodeo's got me feeling like so I should go.
If you want your currywurst fix here in Mitte, Curry 61 is the place to come. Personally, I'm not a big fan of currywurst. It's fine. I'm not gonna go out of my way to hunt it down though. Look at that line. I will say, for currywurst, it's pretty good. So this is Hackesgemarkt. It is a very popular shopping area. And as you probably noticed, this area has become really gentrified and very, I don't know, for lack of a better term, bougie. But they have a really cool market here on the weekends. If you're here on the weekends, check it out. This little alley has become so popular in the last couple of months. I don't know if it made its way onto some sort of blog, but it's really popular now. It's quite nice. If you go up the stairs, there is an exhibit called Alles über Anne, all about Anne. It's sponsored by the Anne Frank House in Amsterdam. Back up in here, all kinds of little shops and artists selling their wares. An artist space up in these rooms that artists can rent out. It's a very cool area, but it's like 3 months ago, nobody ever came here. I don't know what made it so popular recently, but everyone comes here now. With good reason, it's very cool.
The building behind us here in the 1930s was a factory. In the factory, they made brushes, like paintbrushes. And it was owned by this gentleman right here named Otto Veit. Otto Veit employed about 70 to 80 blind Jewish people in his factory. Before the Jewish Holocaust started, the Nazi euthanasia program was going on. And so blind Jewish people would have been doubly marked for deportation and murder. Not only that, but there's a hidden room in here that Otto hid a family of Jewish people until 1943, when somebody told on them and they were deported and murdered at Auschwitz. Now, Otto survived the war, which to me is pretty shocking considering what he did in hiding the Jewish people. So he's credited with saving between 70 and 80 people through his employment here. So people come here to see the colorful walls, but need to remember the building behind it was used to save Jewish people.
I'm not that good at faking.
This little quarter in Mitte is one of my favorites in all of Berlin. If you want to get slightly off of Unter den Linden and get away from Alexanderplatz, come over here, check out the shopping, eat some of the great food. I know you'll love it. So hope you've enjoyed this. If you did, go ahead and hit the like button, and I'll see you next time, guys.